Have you ever experienced something so unique that you've never thought of, but when you experience it, the whole idea felt so obvious? That's Nier Automata for me. Most games try to tell a good story. Some games try to experiment with gameplay. But Nier does something very few games ever attempt. It's questioned the entire idea of what a video game is. I went into Nier Automata expecting a stylish action RPG, like a typical Platinum Games game. What I got instead was one of the most bizarre, emotional, and philosophical games I've ever played. And the more I played it, the more I realized this game was doing things I've never seen other games do. Nier Automata is a game that surprises you from the first moment with its unconventional blend of aesthetics and mechanics due to its eccentric fusion of stylish hack and slash with deep narrative elements. Developed by Platinum Games, the studio known for dynamic action games like Bayonetta, directed by Yoko Taro, the visionary behind the Nier series, the game establishes a post-apocalyptic dystopian tone with androids battling machines. At first glance, it appears as a stylish hack and slash with fluid action combos like most Platinum games, but it quickly reveals its hybrid nature, emphasizing its uniqueness through constant player surprises. The game's tone switches between melancholic existential philosophy and absurd humor. It immerses players in a world where Yora androids, such as 2B and 9S, fight machines on a ruined Earth, building an immediate atmosphere of alienation and reflecting on the meaning of existence from the outset. Yoko Taro, renowned for nonlinear narratives and weird twists, deliberately designed the game to be unpredictable. Characters in Nier Automata stand out with their anime stylization, pale skin, asymmetrical hairstyles, and combat suits, giving them an ethereal allure in a post-apocalyptic setting. This aesthetic shows a contrast of the melancholic and alienating tone where androids destroy grotesque machines in this new world. The world's aesthetic blends futuristic ruins with organic elements, like vine-overgrown skyscrapers, reinforcing the sense of an abandoned Earth after an alien invasion. The game constantly shifts genre, transitioning from hack and slash to bullet hell shooter, side-scroller, and top-down shooter, showing its experimental style. Sections like the amusement park or flooded city introduce 2D side-scrollers with platforming gameplay, contrasting its open-world 3D areas. These shifts are not gimmicks, but serve the narrative. How the story is told in Nier is unique. At first, I didn't even know there were multiple routes, and this fundamentally differs from normal single-player games. Nier required completing the game multiple times to get the full story. The game's plot unfolds across distinct routes labeled A, B, C, and culminates in ending E, with each playthrough building upon the previous one rather than merely repeating content, which allowed players to experience revelations about the android machine war, Yora organization secrets, and existential themes from different perspectives, such as 2B, 9S, and A2, by having us experience familiar events through their perspectives, thus expanding the lore of the world. This approach draws from director Yoko Taro's signature style, seen in prior Nier titles, but elevates it through gameplay integration where combat and exploration mirror narrative progression. By the time you reach ending E, you would have spent around 20 to 25 hours in multiple runs to finally get the full picture of the story. Nier Automata's narrative structure masterfully uses repetition to deliver expanding revelations. It showed a narrative innovation that is still unmatched in gaming currently, in my opinion. Existentialism is a main plot point in the game, shown through characters grappling with freedom, absurdity, and self-definition in a world devoid of gods. Androids like 2B and 9S follow program directives, yet experience doubt. The machines develop individual identities, rejecting their collective programming, as seen in their creation of villages inspired by human societies. This imitation evolves into genuine emotion, questioning whether meaning arises from action rather than origin. And this brings up the question of what it means to be human. Nier Automata blurs human-android machine lines, with androids experiencing love, loss, and sacrifice, despite lacking the biology to do so. Machines developing emotions like mourning or art suggest humanity lies in empathy, not origin. Instead of just telling a story about robots fighting, Nier Automata constantly asks uncomfortable questions. Nier Automata embodies existentialism by depicting a world devoid of inherent purpose, where characters must confront the void left by humanity's extinction. Androids fight for humanity's return. Machines, initially tools of aliens, evolve independently. Nier masterfully humanizes the androids in its storytelling, but it also made me wonder if androids would be considered beings, like animals, humans, etc., or not, because they would be constructed of inorganic materials, but they have the ability to think, feel, and act freely. Well, I guess that's a bigger question that will have to be crossed when we get there as a society. Nier features a total of several endings, with ending E standing out as the game's true conclusion. This ending requires players to complete endings A, B, C, and D first. Ending E revolves around a cinematic sequence that accumulates the narrative arcs of Android 2B and 9S, emphasizing themes of existential despair, hope, and human-machine connections central to the game's philosophical core. Its uniqueness lies in blending gameplay, meta-narrative, and community interaction into an experience that transcends traditional video game conclusions. Director Yoko Taro designed Ending E specifically for dedicated players who invest significant time, making it inaccessible without prior commitment to multiple playthroughs. This structure reinforces the game's motif of repetition and multiple perspectives, mirroring real-world cycles of conflict and redemption. The ending's concept involves a final confrontation that integrates player choice in unprecedented ways, transforming passively playing the game into an active participation. Ending E masterfully shatters the fourth wall by directly addressing the player as an entity separate from in-game characters, blurring lines between fiction and reality. Characters reference a repetition of events as if aware of prior roots, creating a sense of shared meta-awareness between the characters and the player. The fourth wall breakage intensifies in post-credits segments where save file interactions occur, treating the player's progression as part of the narrative fabric. This mechanic forces reflection on the player's role, echoing philosophical queries about observation influencing reality. The groundbreaking aspect of Ending E involves real-time interaction with the global player community through an online system, where collective choices influence individual experiences. During a key prompt, players vote anonymously alongside thousands of other players worldwide, with outcomes determined by majority consensus. This multiplayer element without direct co-op creates a sense of communal storytelling, as one's isolated playthrough connects to the broader player base. This system was active for a few months post-launch, so unfortunately I personally wasn't able to, participate, so I didn't get to be included in part of the fun. However, even offline players receive community-driven results, allowing the majority to influence the narrative endpoint. Ending E encapsulates Nier Automata's brilliance by making players actively participate in a narrative through fourth wall disruption, community input, and consequential choices. Nier Automata's uniqueness stems from genre fluidity, keeping players off balance. A replay-demanding narrative unveiling lore gradually, existential philosophy mirroring player investment, bold designs like data deletion, and a soundtrack that emotionally devastates people. These combination of things makes Nier Automata the most unique game I have ever played. Because it's one of those games that reminds you what video games are capable of, not just a medium for entertainment, but as an experience. So, if you've never played Nier Automata, I highly recommend going in blind. Because trust me, it's something you have to experience yourself. And if you have played it, what do you think? Is it one of your top 10 games ever played? Did it feel as unique for you as it did for me? Let me know down in the comments, and please be sure to like and subscribe. See you in the next one.